Welcome back to Black to Review. Welcome back to Black to Review. So today we're going to talk about Legion Chapter 12 and Chapter 13. Only because Chapter 12, I feel like it didn't have that much information in it to really talk about. It's going to be really short. So we have Sydney. We basically get a rundown of Sydney's childhood, and immediately knows that Sydney can't be touched, and then Sydney grows up and she sees these two people kissing, and she knows that she will never be able to do that. You know, Sydney actually reminds me of one of the characters from X-Men, Rogue, I believe is her name, where she couldn't touch her boyfriend in the X-Men movie, the first one. And yeah, she definitely reminds me of her, except that Rogue, I believe, kills people when she kisses them, whereas Sydney just swaps with the person. David is there, and he's trying to figure out how he can help Sydney get out of that space, and Sydney's like, it's a maze. You have to figure it out. He keeps coming back to her and is like, did I do it? Did I do it? And she's like, no, you didn't do it right. Go back, figure it out, figure out what's going on and how to get me out of here. So everyone wakes up after the monk's death, except of course David and Sydney, who are technically still awake, but their eyes are closed for some reason. So Sydney, she can swap with her mom because she wants to have sex for the first time, and she goes into the shower with her mom's boyfriend, but then her body suddenly changes and the boyfriend's like, oh my god, I didn't do anything. And, you know, the police show up because she's a minor. After that, it gets to the end where there's like this intense scene, and it goes from full screen to widescreen, and it just slowly zooms in on David, and I'm like, that's such a great scene. Then get to the end, David and Sydney are running, and we learn that Lenny is back in the building. And that is the end. So yeah, that was a short episode. That's going to incorporate the next episode into this. There's so many unanswered questions in that last episode, but let's get into episode 13. She is captured, and she's talking to Burnt Face Guy, and she's telling them like about her childhood and how her grandmother would give her alcohol when she was like 9 years old, and he doesn't care about any of that. He's like, how are you here right now when you, before it just existed as the Shadow King, as a consciousness of David? And she's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm one of the good guys. And everybody's just like, we don't care. We don't care about that. My cat is scratching his scratcher, so he's like super loud right now. Then we get this scene with Oliver and the guy with the glasses. His name starts with Farquay or something like that. And they're digging up this dead body, and the guy with the glasses with the accent, he actually kisses the dead body. They pick off a piece of flesh of the dead body, put it in this machine. And at first I'm like, is that Lenny's dead body? But then like I saw him hold her hand and kiss it, and I was like, he must have some sort of strong connection to whoever this body is. Next we have Memory Guy, who starts explaining his theory of how he doesn't believe that the present actually exists, and that there's only the past and the future. He talks about how light takes time for the eye to view. Just like his glasses, when Lenny looks at them, it takes a million seconds or a million... it sends signals, and it takes a million seconds to view it, but it's not happening now in the present. And he like suddenly snaps on her when he's trying to read her mind, and he starts choking her. And remember that little black thing that went in his ear one of the previous episodes? That is still in his body, I believe, and it's controlling him in some way. So his reaction to Lenny was like very violent and aggressive, and he was choking her, and I was like, I don't know what's going on with that. So then boom, we find out that Lenny isn't actually in someone else's body, which is something I speculated the entire episode, because I'm like, she has blue eyes, you know, she's wearing contacts, but come to find out they're not her eyes. There's the person's body that she's in eyes. Her guy's like, whose body is that you're in? Because I remember your eyes being brown. He's like, I have no idea. She also tells him, when I was the Shadow King, it was all a game I was playing. And, you know, nobody's not really trying to hear that. They're not buying it. You know, she schemed them the first time, and they really don't want to fall for it the second time. Next, there's a scene where, like, the narrator is talking, and I have no idea who the narrator is, but he talks about the clouds and how we see things in clouds, different faces, shapes, things like that. We see different things in trees, and from time to time we see things in our food, and sometimes a lot of people say they see Jesus in their food, when in actuality it's like we're so prone to patterns, and that we've been looking at patterns our whole life and using it as survival. And when things become a coincidence, it thus becomes a conspiracy. And my thoughts on that was like, coincidences are not really coincidences. Some people believe in coincidence, but then when you think about coincidence, you're like, this isn't a coincidence. And then it becomes a conspiracy because you're like, it might mean something else. So it really just boggles my thoughts in my mind about that whole statement. In the end, we get a reunion between David and Lenny. I love that reunion. I thought it was super cute. And we learned that Lenny is actually in David's sister's body, and David flips out. He's crying. He's super emotional. And I'm like, wow, that was unexpected. And I was like, damn. They basically killed his sister and put Lenny in her body. Now it's going to build this whole other connection between the two, because she's inhabiting someone he truly deeply cared about, but cared about's body. So yeah, that was crazy. And then David's just like, I'm gonna get you. He hears the voice who's like laughing at him, which I believe is the guy with the glasses who actually did this whole procedure. Well, Oliver kind of did the procedure, but he controlled it. And David's just like, I'm gonna get you. Like, this isn't over. He's basically like, I'm coming for you. It's on. And it goes off. This episode was, everything kind of happened very, very quick. The last two episodes, the episode Sydney, it was more of just based on Sydney. And this episode was really based on Lenny. I love that different characters are getting their own episodes. But yeah, everything's kind of happening really fast. There's not really much episodes left, so I can't wait to review the rest. And of course, you guys know I'm gonna hit the plug. You know, if you would like a copy of my book, Rain, you can hit the link below to get a copy. It is similar to this show. It definitely correlates with this show a lot. It's about kids in a mental institution, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And they have a counselor who, everybody has mental illnesses and problems, but it's like, do we really have these problems, or is something else going on beneath the surface? So if you would like to know more information about it, and hit the link below, you'll be able to read the back, and you'll be able to read chapter 1, some insight on chapter 1. So I'll see you next time.